most wonderful time of the year. The haters are happy cause the team playing crappy. Give the Clippers a cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all. Wearing bags on their head cause the team's playing bad. Let the haters cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. PH had to split, KB is too old. SNN can't do a pick and roll. They gave Peace a chance, and Paul on the other hand, they never should let Mike Brown go. Go. It's the most wonderful time of the year. The bench is not deep. Look at Jack, he's asleep. Let the haters cheer. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Ooh-wee. This is for all the Laker haters. Thank you, Dr. Bone. Cause if it wasn't for you, us haters wouldn't have anything to hate. Hate on haters.
Right now.
We on the air?
Yeah. We on the air, shit. We on the air.
Yeah. Welcome.
Just talking shit.
Welcome. Hear ye. We are here for the congregation. We're here for the congregation of Laker haters only. So, welcome to the actual family. We got Mo Funches. We got Hugh. We got Van Douglas.
The number one Laker hater.
And then we got Johnny over here. So, now that we're all here, we probably saw what happened today.
Oh, we all saw.
And we saw how that game turned out. We saw how that game was a complete dumpster fire in the third quarter. Once that third quarter hit, it was nothing but downhill skating for Denver. And they were skating downhill fast with no brakes. Mm-hmm. And so we say congratulations to the OKC Thunder. And guess what? You get to face Minnesota Tuesday.
Ooh, I'm so scared.
And then congratulations to New York. For winning their series. You get to face Indiana, which coincidentally enough, for the first time in 25 years, New York makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And the funny thing enough, we're going back in time because it was in 2000 when New York played Indiana, and Indiana won that series 4-2. That was with Reggie Miller on the team. So now we've gone, and now we bring it back. So now do the sins of the father become the sins of the son? Because Rick Brunson was on that Knicks team. Back with Patrick Ewing, with Allen Houston, with Latrell Speedwell, with all them. And they couldn't get it done against the Pacers. Now, do the sins of the father become the sins of the son? Let's discuss.
This is Hugh from Boston. I just wanted to, and I don't mean to backside you on this, but who was the coach of Indiana then?
Wasn't it Rick?
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird, right?
Larry
Just
Bird.
thought I'd throw that in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Austin connection.
Well, I'm going to say this here, okay? I'm Van Douglas, #1 Laker hater, and I'm just gonna tell it like it is. Okay. New York is overrated. And I challenge anybody that's a Knicks fan that's listening to this, call and say something. I dare you to call and say something. New York is overrated.
I will.
But they're going to the conference final.
They're going.
They overrated. Wait a minute, hold up.
You're right, but let me just say one thing. Of the 4 teams in the going, New York is the worst.
I'm not arguing that, but injuries happen. Blowing games will get you series losses, and both happen to Boston. So they kind of earn the loss.
No, lots
But
of things
even
can happen.
even with that, Punch, right? New York, Boston gave New York 3 of those 4 games in that series.
Not arguing that.
No one's arguing that.
Now, I'm saying this here. When Boston cut it to 3-2, if Boston had Tatum in Game 6, Boston was going to kick their ass and force a Game 7.
All I can.
And while I'm talking about New York, okay, Stephen A. Smith, if you're a Knicks fan, y'all need to kick Stephen A. Smith's ass to the curb.
I'm not arguing that either.
Because
Why is that, brother?
because before the series tipped off, the series tipped off,
He picked Boston.
he picked Boston.
Everybody
Everybody picked Boston.
fair,
But hold on. But to be fair,
Who in here didn't pick Boston?
we all picked Boston.
We all picked Boston.
Everybody picked Boston.
Literally, Boston was the hands-on favorite to win that. If they didn't blow those 2 games, especially in Boston, we probably having a
And
whole
that's the
different
problem.
conversation.
And while I'm speaking on that series, I'm exhausted flying with you from New York to Boston, and we just thought that Boston was just going to win the first 2 games, split in New York, and it was going to be over in Game 5. But when Boston lost the first 2 games, Hugh called me and said, "Hey, man, we got to go to New York." I'm like, "For what? We need to be on the bench for Game 3 and 4 in New
Because
York."
Hugh has been calling, he's been calling Boston the entire playoffs.
Exactly.
Like, Magoo's a travesty. Tatum,
Yep.
you want to talk about overrated? Tatum's overrated because even the game,
Tatum's not overrated.
Man, it's this simple. Even in the game when Tatum went off, where he got injured, they were going to lose that game.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Brunson matched Tatum.
No, wait a
So
minute. Let me call it what it is. I watched every game in
I
that
watched
series.
it too.
We watched every
Yeah.
game.
Everybody watched it.
I tell you what pissed me off about Game 4. Boston was holding a 14-point lead and getting ready to blow New York's doors off in Game 4.
Right.
What happened?
The refs.
Okay.
Okay,
They called four fouls.
hold on.
Let him finish. No, let him finish.
Go,
man.
go,
Let me hear
go,
this.
go.
They called Brown had 1 foul going into the 3rd quarter. They called 4 fouls on Brown in the 3rd quarter, putting him in trouble with 5 fouls. The minute they took Brown out, that's when New York made their
Was
run.
Tatum in the game?
Huh?
Was Tatum in the game?
He was there, but hey,
Okay.
in that game, in the playoffs, you need everybody.
I'm just saying. If
Okay.
he's that dude. point made.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Okay, so when we talk about Game 4, we're talking about that same Game 4 where Tatum actually had the opportunity where literally, if I got my, he had the dunk to actually put them ahead. You foul Brunson, which God forbid, why would you do that? You sent him to the free throw line instead of calling timeout. You freeballed it. Thank you, Missoula. So basically you have Tatum going down court in the same situation, except guess what? New York adjusted.
They didn't make no adjustment.
You said they made the
The refs made the adjustment by putting Brown out the game.
Hold on,
Ball in
no.
hand, had a chance to win the game.
Tatum
Jordan had that
still
shot.
had an
Let's go.
opportunity to win the game. He had Derek White or Drew Holiday in the corner for 3. Instead of making the pass, he went for the shot.
You talking about
In
game
triple
one?
coverage.
You talking about game 1?
Game 4.
Boy.
Well, he couldn't make up. I'm gonna take the shot. Oh, I'm not gonna take the shot, and I'm gonna.
And then literally had 3 people surrounding him, had Carl
talking
Anthony
about one
Towns.
Which cost them the game. Yes, the one play that cost them the game. Yes, we're talking about that one play.
Hugh, why
and
are
we're talking about. Well, here's what we're talking about. The Lakers ain't gonna be in the championship. Yay. Okay, we're good.
Right.
Okay.
But since we're talking about this, that one, yeah, we can talk about one player. We can talk about the 2 games that they gave up in Boston. You don't do that if you're the dude. You can say what you want. You're in
Bottom
Boston.
line,
Why we-
Boston lost.
Come
Boston
on, Hugh.
lost.
Give me.
Bottom line, Boston lost. Why did they lose? In my personal opinion,
me hear this.
because of the coach. And I've said that all along. And in my opinion, Tatum has not measured up to be the
got a
guy
question.
on the floor.
Got a question for you before. If Udoka's head coach of that team, do they win that series?
I think if he was the head coach, they would be in for the 3rd championships in a row.
I agree.
I'll say this.
I agree.
I was just. They're my personal thoughts and whatever. I think he got railroaded, but that's just my opinion, and people can have other
Talking about
opinions.
Udoka?
Yes.
Yeah,
Udoka.
and that's fine.
But he
But
knows that too.
comparison to the coach, Missoula, whom I really didn't know much about. But, I mean, my understanding is that he's Tatum's favorite. And that's going to be the answer to a lot of things. And the question that I'm shifting gears a little bit, but how does this affect Boston's, with Tatum being out next year, say?
And they have new owners and everything.
They got new owners coming in. They've got all kinds of things that
Right.
I've got here.
They're gonna come in.
But the problem is Boston's got a $500 million salary.
Somebody gonna have to take a
They're-
hit.
they're-
Okay. So
it-
Al Horford
now,
included?
Al Horford,
no, but the
I
salary
believe
is
he's
Tatum
retired.
Brown and whatever. We actually he had up last week. He had up the salaries for both the Lakers and the Celtics, which I'd love to have you to put up again.
Yeah, fair
at
enough.
some point in time.
I can pull up the actual
But
Celtics
no,
salary.
the coach, in my opinion, should have changed the philosophy of shooting 3 points.
Okay.
It's like at a penny arcade.
So what's your name, sir?
You from Boston.
There you go. That's why he's speaking upon Boston.
Because he's the expert
Well,
on Boston.
I can't disagree with what Hugh was saying, but I will say this here, right? Missoula, it's hard for me to disagree with Hugh. I mean, Hugh is a Boston fan. He follows them, and he keeps it real, unlike Laker fans. But the thing is, I try to find something to disagree with Hugh about, and I'm having a hard time doing it. That lets me know he know what he's talking about. Because my thing is this here. Yes, Boston should have took the ball to the hole when they wasn't hitting their threes. Okay? I said before the series started, Boston gets in trouble when they go cold from the three-point line. Boston had a lot of cold shooting nights in this series from the three-point line, and it got them in trouble at the end. Okay? But with that being said, this next series that New York plays with Indiana, okay, Brunson is going to have to average 30 to 35 for them to even have a shot at winning the series. Okay? Because here's my thing. Indiana's a running gun team. Indiana is the closest thing to the Showtime Lakers back in the 80s with Magic and them. They're going to run, they're going to run, they're going to run.
Oh.
Okay? And New York cannot miss a gang of shots and think they're going to keep up. New York has got to hit shots, and they got to try to control the game. You're going to see New York playing zone defense probably in this series with Indiana trying to slow the game down. Okay? But my whole thing on that, and we're going to get to this a little later in the show, because if you're the Lakers, and you're watching these playoffs play out, right? What's the one thing that these teams have had that they didn't have?
A big man. Big man.
That's it.
So with that being said, and I'm gonna go to the Lakers. I'm gonna get on the Laker fans for a minute
Well, you got to get on
because
that. Please,
because
listen,
my
please.
thing is this here, and I'm really gonna get on John Ireland on 710. And like Hugh said, yes, I know 710 is paying John Ireland. Okay, but John Ireland, you are still wrong for disillusioning these Laker fans.
Fans, right.
Because you knew going into the playoffs when the Mark Williams trade to Charlotte didn't go through, right? You basically went from AD to Jackson Hayes. That's what y'all went to. But you're still on the radio
Y'all didn't even
trying to
trust Jackson Hayes.
Yeah, you're still on the radio
Defend that.
trying to sell the Laker fans on they're going to make a championship run.
Next year.
No, this year when they got Luka.
Yeah, but this is Hugh from Boston. I mean, you got to really put the blame where it is. It's on the Laker fans because they believe in this stuff and they're not looking at anything.
And
They're just up there. I believe. I believe.
Yes.
and
I'm wishing. I'm hoping.
And when you try to tell Laker fans what it is, and truth be told, I know this because I tried to tell them, but when you say anything negative about the Lakers, oh, you're a hater.
Yeah.
You're a hater.
Absolutely.
You're a hater. Okay, I'll be the hater, but I know what I'm talking about. And if you really believe that the Lakers was gonna make a deep playoff run,
Sorry.
okay, then like I said, I got an ocean in Oklahoma I want to sell you. Because the bottom line is, you know, at some point you just got to keep it real.
Yeah, but Hugh from Boston in Lakerland is not real. I mean, we've been talking about for years about what's Palinka's
Lakerland.
plan, what's the thing, and that's what Rashid's putting up on the board is the Laker and the Celtic payroll.
all right, so right
And
now,
you look at what the Celtics have got in the future, you see what they've got a problem. They've got too many good people, too much talent, too much money. But Palinka's, you pull up the Lakers, Palinka's got nothing for next year, and that's what I've been trying to talk about all this season. There's the Lakers. What's your future?
Well, I'm looking at LeBron. He's
Yeah,
got a
great.
player option for 52. Okay. And you got Luka. He's got an option for 48. Okay.
Well, I got to sign Luka.
Then you got who
Luka
was
still
that?
technically has another year before he gets to that player option. LeBron, this is his player option year coming up. Rui Hachimura, he has one more
They can
year.
drop Dorian Finney-Smith.
Dorian
but yeah,
Finney-Smith, that's a player option.
Yeah.
for the Lakers.
Reeves, he has one more year before he hits the player option. Gabe Vincent has one more year.
But these are expiring.
But I mean, these
contracts.
are, I mean,
This is
whom are
manic.
we talking about besides Luka and
And LeBron.
LeBron?
The fact they paid
There's nobody.
Vanderbilt that much money.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
the Lakers. You know the Lakers. All bullshit to the side. And I'm just keeping it real. You know what the Lakers got to do?
What they got to do, man?
They got to trade Austin Reeves, put him in a package with somebody, and they got to go get a Clinton Capella from Atlanta.
Isn't he a free agent?
If he's a free agent, then they
look
need
and
to
see.
they need to sign
I
him.
can see if he's under contract.
Hold on.
But Mo Punches from Carson, one thing, looking at their salary situation, they do have some flexibility because expiring contracts are desired because it gives you flexibility. So they have 4 players, but if you couple their money together, it's, I think, over $60 million. So that's not awesome. So yeah, so if the GM is working with him, he can entice some people to take some of these players,
Yeah, he's a
not
free
because
agent.
they're good. Free agent. Not
So
because
if
they're
he's a
good, but
free
because-
agent-
yeah.
If Capella's a free agent, the Lakers need to get their ass on the phone and get Capella.
Expiring contracts. That is
Okay.
a big enticement if you're
Yeah.
if you're
Now-
dealing with the Lakers.
Now,
Hugh from Boston, Mo, you're right, but that's the only asset they got.
That's the only asset they have. Yes.
Yeah,
So I
because
agree.
Mark-
And you have to
That's
be-
pretty sad.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna argue that.
yeah, because
And-
Marquise Morris, he's gone. Jackson Hayes, he's more likely not getting
he's not
signed.
gonna be signed.
Not getting signed. Alex Lynn gone. And literally everyone else that's on there, if they don't have a second year option, if they don't have an option for next year, they're not coming back. And if they have a player option, Dorian Finney-Smith, he's
He
more
has
likely
an
going to test free agency. And LeBron, more than likely, he might just try to test free agency, or he's going to have to be the one to take the pay cut.
Sure.
Good. And good luck with that. And speaking of free agency, I've seen way too many of these disillusionment when it comes to Jokic coming to the Lakers.
Oh, him, Giannis.
Yes, I've seen the actual stupidity. I've seen Giannis come to the Lakers. I've seen KD.
I can see the KD thing because
I
KD at
can't.
this point should be desperate.
I can't
Why not?
because KD
He's not
is
a
still
big.
under contract, and the
Oh, he's
Lakers
not, I
have to
didn't know.
trade.
Okay. Yeah.
No, they would have to
again,
trade.
You could probably match his contract with these 4 players.
Phoenix ain't taking them.
I'm just saying.
One question: how old is KD?
And why would Phoenix
34?
deal with the Lakers?
I don't know. How old
34?
is he?
I think
Durant's 37.
Oh, yeah. Please have him come to the Lakers.
So speaking of
Make it worse than what it is.
speaking of
We have
Durant.
him and
That's a good point,
LeBron.
Mo.
Speaking of
That's gonna be the
Durant.
all injury team. Yeah.
Speaking of
right.
Durant, now I'm gonna shift over to Jay Will for OKC
Okay.
because he pissed me off on Friday.
Yeah, Durant got
Oh
2
man,
more
he
years.
had me throwing drinks around and everything.
After you paid for him, bro.
Huh?
After you paid for the
I
damn
paid
trick, you
for
throwing
him.
them motherfuckers
He had
around.
me throwing away money and
Oh
shit.
man, you.
Okay, let me tell you why. Okay, so in Game 6, OKC takes a 12-point lead. In Game 6,
Right.
right? The refs jumped on Shea, hit him with 4 fouls in the first half. Shea had 4 fouls in the first half. I say, okay, I see the bullshit coming. Here we go. Okay,
I got a counter to that.
so they had a 12-point lead when they hit Shea with them fouls. Okay? All right, fine. You hit Shea with the fouls. We got Jay Will. Jay Will will hold down the fort until Shea gets back in the game.
Right.
Man, Jay Will came out there.
And stunk up.
You an all-star, dude. You made the all-star team this year. We need you to hold the fort down till Shea get back. He came out there and just stunk up the joint. And I'm like, okay, Denver's getting every call. We up 12. And so now they put Shea in foul trouble. We need you to pick up the slack.
Right.
And he didn't show up.
Okay.
And go ahead,
Okay,
Punch.
both punches from Carson. Two issues with this. I'm gonna say the issue this year that I have with what you just described. Your star player should not get 4 fouls in the first half. He's on. You're away. He has 3. I'm going to sit him because I need those 3 fouls in the second half. To have him get 4, bad coaching. Okay. The issue with last year, ain't nothing shocking about Jay Weir disappearing when the pressure's on. Because when that happened last year, he did the same thing. So I'm not shocked. The only player on that team that I actually would fear is Shea. So I know if I knock him out, I got a good chance of winning. If you watch OKC last year, you know the players who were on that team last year, it may be kind of dork because he's going through 4 or 5 years, but that's a maybe. But everybody else, shaky at best.
Now I'm gonna say this here.
Well, he showed up today.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this here. You know why he showed up today?
Because Shea led the way.
No, because I was cussing his ass out for the last 2 days. Okay.
I'm going to go with Shea led the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Mo on
I'm going to go with
that.
Shea led the way.
I've been cussing his ass out the last 2 days. I say, hey man, so you go. So I told Jay Will. I said, Jay Will. I say, so you just gonna leave everything up to Shay, right? You gonna
Okay.
punk out and leave everything up
Yes,
to Shay.
absolutely. Mo punch from
Come
Carson.
on, man.
All right, man.
There's a
I'm
reason.
glad you did what you did, but stop throwing your drinks, man. Them motherfuckers cost too
Yeah,
much
those
money.
things are expensive. There's a
Too
reason
much money.
why people want to build teams around youth in the NBA. Because you don't really win with youth in the NBA. It's rare you're gonna have a young team that's gonna come to and barnstorm folks. So you
What
like
about-
having veterans on those teams.
I'ma
They
say
are
this,
a
Punch.
young- They are a young team.
I'm gonna say this,
They're
Punch.
scary. Yeah.
With that, what you just said, right? Because I said it today. When the game 7 first started, and Jay Will was struggling again,
Thank you.
and they was down 10 points. And there's one guy that was watching.
Caruso.
When one guy was watching the game when he had Denver. Yeah. I said, hey, dog. I said, now you got a 10-point lead, right? Yeah. I said, OKC winning the game. Oh, we'll see about that. And whoa. Right? Guess Shea came with his.
Yes.
But Jay Will finally showed up and came
But
with
guess who was
his.
getting the standing applause?
Yeah.
Who was Shea?
Caruso.
Alex, you
Yeah, Caruso.
watching it. 3 standing applauses because that vet came in and made big shots and played big D.
The veteran.
I give it to you. Yeah, I give
look at the
Caruso
way
that.
look at the rotation. They played 8 people until it was garbage time. Caruso played big minutes. Hardenstein played big minutes. They did not. The 3-point shooter, I forgot, Isaiah Joe, who bombed last year. He was on the bench because he bombed last year. We don't have time for you to bomb. We need people who can play. So guys who are in that rotation, I think Wiggins found a way in, but other than that, no one else got off the bench. So they played those vets because they knew what those vets were going to do.
Which
This is you
leads
from
me to
Boston.
this. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Which leads me to this. If OKC had lost this game today
Or we knew.
and
Yeah.
Jay Will struggled, I would have been on the phone with Sam Pesci, the OKC general manager, and I'm ready to whoop your ass if you don't send his ass to Phoenix with a couple of them draft picks you got and get Kevin Durant here. Okay? Now, with that being said, I also have to remember this. Because that team is so young, they're going to have growing pains. And they're going to have tests. To their credit, for them to win game 5 when it was 2-2,
Another vet.
that's another step. For them to win game 7 today. I mean, they didn't do it against some bums.
2 vets.
Shit.
Yeah.
Anybody call?
No.
They didn't do it against some bums. Okay? And before that series started, I said the series would go 6. And I said the only reason I say 6 is because of Jokic. My thing is this here. Going forward, I challenge anybody. Minnesota is about to get beat. I'm calling it. And I'm calling it. And I'm going to tell you why
I'm
I'm
glad you
calling
mentioned
it.
that. Go ahead. You want to say something? I'm
Go
glad you
Yeah,
mentioned that.
I just had a couple of things. I want to go back to what Mo was saying earlier about the youth. I believe that the basketball players peak when they hit about 26, and their prime is between 26 and 29. And OKC is just too young.
Too young.
And we all call it experience and whatever. And then the other thing was about Caruso. And I'm just quoting what I heard driving in here, is that he played 26 minutes and he was plus 40 when he was on the court.
Bingo.
Okay.
Now,
So-
the other last thing I want to throw in there, Caruso, who did he used to play for?
The Lakers.
What other
Speak on
old Lakers
Speak on
have been doing pretty well this year in the playoffs?
All of-
Randall. For
Yeah.
Matt Randall.
Yeah. And where are the Lakers now under that
Cancun?
wonderful general manager?
Sitting
Mr.
over there.
Pelinka?
Do you know where?
Cancun.
Wait a minute. Can I answer where the Lakers are? You asked the question. Say where the Lakers are. Not only are they watching Randall in the conference finals, going to be watching Caruso in the conference finals.
But are they
who
watching
both
Caruso?
played for him, while they're kissing LeBron's ass, trying to get him to take a pay cut.
Okay, more punches from Carson. So couple 3 points maybe. Let's see if I remember this. I can't remember what
That's
I was
my
gonna say
problem.
first.
That's always my problem.
Yeah, I can't remember the first thing. Oh, want Minnesota to win. The real Lakers will go to the championship if Minnesota win. Boom. So I want Minnesota to win. That was perfect. But 2 points. The other 2 points. Game 5 and Game 7, OKC. You made the point. Point proven. Dort came in and won that game in the fourth quarter. Made 4 straight threes or 3 straight threes, something like that. But
Well, yeah.
they were struggling. They were playing that zone, and Dort was like, "Let's go." Caruso, this game, you need someone to play some D, make a shot. He was making those big shots. He was defending Joker.
Denver threw everything at OKC. And like I said, OKC, they asked Caruso to guard Jokic.
Yes.
I'm like, really?
Yes.
And I'm like, he held his own. Jokic is going to get his. Don't get it twisted. He going to get his.
And that's
Right.
that's what the coach did. He's like, you're going to get yours, but we're going to have a guy on the other end who's going to pull you out and make you defend that
But
three.
in all fairness to Denver,
Murray struggled
Denver
too.
needs to add some depth
Yes.
to their bench. And any kind of injury with any of the Denver frontline players, they're in trouble. You saw it today with Gordon.
But you saw that last year too.
Right.
But as a GM, you have to know what your team needs. And so when you won your championship, you lost Uncle Jeff Green, and you lost the dude who went to Brooklyn. The guy
You
who
lost
played
Pope?
Oh, Caldwell Pope too. Yep, that's three. So you're losing, and this was this year's free agency. So you're losing all these players. You have to know you're losing these players. You have to get some wins. Your GM is not worth his money he's being paid if you're not. You're a championship quality team without depth, which is going to make it a challenge to win championships.
So my thing is about this next series, right? Now we compare Anthony Davis to Jackson Hayes with the Lakers, right? Now, this next series that OKC plays, when we compare Rudy Gobert to Jokic, there's no comparison. Meaning that OKC is not going to have to sell out to try to guard Gobert
that's
the
a
way
bad
they had to
comparison.
guard.
I know
What
that's a
I'm
bad
saying is
comparison
this.
because that's too.
That's not the way they win their offense.
No, what I'm
That's
saying
not
is this
comparison.
here. What I'm saying is this here. Denver ran everything through Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's a monster. Gobert, they ain't running everything through Gobert.
That's not
Minnesota
his
ain't.
job.
That's not
Right?
That's not his job.
Okay.
And so where you should be looking, there's two pillars on. There's pillar A and pillar B. That's that boy from Georgia and Randall. So you got to match up with them.
Not worried about it. You know what?
You have a guard area in your offense in OKC. You have a guard area in offense in Minnesota, and they're bigger in Minnesota than you are. And that's the one thing you did. That's the one point I want to make.
Nope.
Look at OKC starting lineup, because everybody says they're big. They're not. Jay Will is 6'6". He tiny. That's why they were getting killed. He was getting killed. Aaron Gordon was killing Jay Will.
Let me put it to you. Let me put it to you like this
Okay,
here.
but
Okay, let me break
Okay,
it
go for
down.
it.
I'm gonna break it down for
look
you.
at starting lineup.
Okay. Number one, you asked me who's gonna guard Ant. Dort. We bring Caruso off the bench. We'll deal with Ant with those two. We can even
Advantage
deal
Ant.
with
Let's
them.
go
We
next
can even
matchup.
deal with Ant with Wiggins.
Next
He got people
He
that
gonna
put
kill
on
everything
that.
you just mentioned.
No, he
Next
ain't.
matchup.
No,
Let's
he
go.
ain't. No, he
He's gonna
ain't.
kill every.
He
Athletically,
better
they
kill it.
cannot
I
match
tell
up
you
with it.
what,
Let's go.
he better kill it.
Because Shay's gonna have the same issue.
And no,
Let's
wait
go.
a minute. Wait a minute. At the same time, right? With Randall. Okay? You're gonna have Hardenstein. They're gonna put Hardenstein on
They
Randall.
will.
They will.
Okay? And so with that being said, those are the two key guys.
You missed one.
No, I know what you're talking about. But those are the key guys.
You missed one.
Who's Conley gonna guard?
Well, that's the thing. They can take Conley out of the game. You're absolutely right. That's the only matchup OKC has, Mo Carson. What you missed was Nas Reed.
No, I didn't miss Nas Reed.
They don't have
I know that
coming off the
Nas
bench.
Reed.
They don't have a matchup for him. He's the same headache he's been for every team.
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
who they got. Nas Reed is Nas Reed ain't coming in the paint this series. Nas Reed is gonna be, if he's a factor, he's gonna be a factor at the 3-point line.
Who they got to stop him?
Holmgren.
He's your starting lineup.
Who off the bench?
Who off the bench is going to match up with Nas Reed?
Who's off the bench that's gonna match up with Nas Reed? I can put Wiggins on him.
3 inches shorter, 20 pounds lighter. Next
Well,
matchup.
I tell you what.
Because
I don't have to worry
You
about.
don't have a
I don't
matchup
have to
for him.
worry. Only way I worry about Nas Reed if he decides to go and post up. But if he's at the 3-point
Which
line,
he has been known to do.
But if he's at the 3-point line, then I can get away with putting Wiggins
If he's
on.
not making his shot. But Minnesota has shown they're brighter than Sorry, Boston. So when they have a size advantage, they go to the post. And there's one other advantage you didn't mention.
Because they
Who's
did
that?
that with
McDaniels, 6'9", long. You don't have a starting if you assign the players the way
They'll
you
probably
said,
put
they don't have
McDaniels
a-
on. They'll probably put McDaniels on Shea. I'll give you that. Okay.
But who did they put on McDaniels on the other end?
and then you got Alexander Walker
They don't
coming
have a
off the
6'9"
bench.
guy.
Put
the
Jay
other end.
Will. We'll put Jay
He's
Will on
6'6".
it.
That's my point. They're small.
Okay.
OKC small. So this is when you said, "Oh, OKC's gonna run through." OKC learn. Everybody. It's the same thing with Boston.
Hungering is going to be on McDaniels to start the series. Now,
So who you gonna match up with Rudy then?
Hartenstein.
Okay, then who you gonna match up with Randall?
Who's
see
going to
the
match up? Wait a
problem?
minute, wait a minute. Who you say? Who you going to match up with Randall?
Yeah.
Hartenstein can't play two guys.
Because remember, you put
They may
Hardenstein,
put a little guy on Gobert.
and that's what the
and
Lakers do.
that's what's gonna be barbecue chicken alert.
Boom. Exactly. Give Rudy Gobert the opportunity to look like Shaq again.
Hell no, that ain't going to happen.
I'm just
Hell
saying,
no,
it's
that ain't
already
gonna
happened.
happen.
It's already happened.
Yeah, Hugh from Boston. I just have one question. Who's the better coach, the OKC coach or the Timberwolves coach? Nobody's talked about the coaches. We're all talking about matchups and everything. We're not making those matchups. The coaches are. And that, in my opinion, is where Boston fell on his face and other teams
I
have
will
fallen
say
on
that
their face.
I will say the OKC coach made a good decision in Game 7 to put Alex Caruso out there instead of putting J.W.
Absolutely.
Because he's like, look, you're gonna get yours, but now you got to guard that three.
But overall, the series, who is a better coach?
Let me
Who's the
go.
better coach?
Who's the
Man,
better
that's
coach?
tough.
I gotta say,
That's a
OKC.
toss up.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a toss up. But let me throw this one here. When that game that Gobert looked like Shaq against the Lakers, who did the Lakers have on the court that was over 6'9", 6'10", or
the point we're
7'?
making, man.
Okay.
If you
So
match
guess
up
what?
with the little guy, he's gonna kill
So
you.
guess what? We start this series, right? Like, we put Jay Will on Gobert, but it's gonna be two other 7-footers on the court, which means Gobert ain't dominating the paint like that.
Okay, so okay. So are we talking playing man? Or are we talking playing zone?
I'm talking about playing man.
Okay.
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 If the only way Gobert. Guess what? I could get away with putting a smaller guy on Gobert, and I'm gonna tell
They
you
did
why.
that in LA.
I'm gonna tell you why. Unlike
They're gonna
LA,
space the floor out.
Unlike LA, wait a minute. Unlike LA, right? What was that? Game 5?
Yeah.
Jackson Hayes was a DMP. He didn't play. Right?
Absolutely.
Who was the biggest guy on the court for the Lakers?
Nobody.
Probably
Who did they put
LeBron.
on? Who did they put on Gobert?
Probably Rui. Rui is
There you
6'10".
Okay. Now with Rui,
That's what I'm saying.
Rui 6'10", right?
Yeah.
But guess what? Outside of Rui 6'10", he was the biggest guy out there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if OKC puts Jay Will on Gobert,
6'6".
they're not gonna throw the ball to Gobert and
They didn't do that in LA.
dare Gobert to score.
Absolutely agree with you. But that's not what they did
Everything
in LA. either.
everything Gobert got in that game 5 was off the board.
Thank you. And that's my
He ain't
point.
getting that
They're
against
not playing
OKC.
three guys that
That's
the
my
point,
call.
you're making my point for me.
Okay,
Because
we're
if you assign,
gonna pause for a moment. I got a special guest on the phone. We having a caller. Are you there?
Hello?
Can you bring him up, son? Caller, are you there?
Hello? Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Oh, yes, I'm here. How you doing, John?
Okay. Hey, good. Calling in on our sports show, bro. We appreciate you. We're talking sports today, but we're gonna make an announcement because we're having a big concert coming at the Miracle Theater on the 25th of this month. And on my phone is Grammy award-winning singer. As a matter of fact, I think this brother won 5 Grammys, man. And he's also going to be having a gospel brunch at the Miracle Theater on the 25th of this month. And we want to invite everybody to come down and support this young man. Now, I had the opportunity to see him last month when he was in town. I was blown away. I heard about this young man, and they were saying this and that, but I had never saw the brother perform. and I was blown away. On my telephone, Corey Henry, that's you, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Brother, we appreciate you calling in on our sports segment. One question before we get started. We're talking basketball. This is something we've been doing for like 17 years on this broadcast. Before we get started with you, are you a basketball fan?
Absolutely. My favorite
Let me ask you
sport.
another question, sir. What is your team, sir?
If I had to take a team, are we talking about playoffs? Are we getting to the playoffs?
No. Who is your basketball team? We're not talking playoffs. We'll get to that later.
My teams, man, my teams are the Lakers and the Knicks, man.
The Lakers.
I'm a Laker and Knicks fan.
Okay, you got
I'm a
two
big
of them.
I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. And
Okay,
I'm
so
from
we can
Brooklyn.
we're going to eliminate the Lakers because this show is called For Laker Haters Only, okay? So we're allowing you to, you like that. So I want you to meet my panel before we get started with you. Introduce yourself to this young man.
Hugh from Boston.
Van Douglas, #1 Laker hater.
Mo Punches from Carson.
Engineer.
I am Rashid the ENG.
And I'm Johnny Jameson, the man you're talking to. I am the producer and executive producer of this program called For Laker Haters Only. But we're here today because we want to, talk to you about this concert you going to present at the Miracle Theater on the 25th of this month. We're so glad to have you in Inglewood, sir. You blew us away last month, man. I was blown away. I was 5 seats from the stage, and I enjoyed everything that I saw. You put it down. Me being the first time.
Thank you so much, man.
I saw you for the first time, and I was just blown away. And it was one thing you made an announcement last week that blew my mind, sir. And I want you to elaborate on this. You said that your grandmother has a Grammy.
Yes, sir. My grandmama, she's a Grammy Award winner. She's a featured artist on my album Church. And it's one of the best songs. It's not the best song on the project. It's her song. I Can Go to God in Prayer. We were singing this song my entire life. I mean, literally since I was a baby. And I had a show a few years ago, and she came out in the club and wore the whole club out. I was like, Grandma, we got to go to the studio. Because people in here loving this song so much. And we went to the studio, we recorded recorded this song, and it's now a Grammy Award-winning song and a Grammy Award-winning project. And it felt so beautiful to open up the Grammy Award, the trophy, with her by my side. So.
Man, that had to be an honor for her, man, for her to be there with you on that moment, to see her grandbaby. That's what she called you, right? That's my grandbaby.
Yeah, that's my grandbaby. That's what she said.
That's my grandbaby. I know, man. But I want to let my listeners know that you're going to be at the Miracle Theater, who I am affiliated with them. And I've been with Owen for a while. I was there when he opened up shop, and I've been there off and on, just being a part of the magic that's going on in Inglewood, because life is good in Inglewood, sir. We really appreciate you.
Life is good.
So born in
I
New
agree.
York.
Life is good.
I'm sorry, would you say that again?
No, I was just agreeing with you. I said life is good in Inglewood.
Yeah, so I want to give people some information about, I heard you was a child prodigy, man, and that was interesting to know. At 2 years old, was you playing that B3 organ at that time?
Yes, sir. I've been playing the organ since I was 2 years old. My mama was the lead musician and singer at the church that we grew up in, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and I've been playing music. Matter of fact, my grandmama said in the interview that I was playing music when I was 3 months. It's crazy. So,
She told the truth.
But I remember my first song being Amazing Grace, and I had an opportunity to play Amazing Grace in church every fifth Sunday, which was like maybe twice a year, right, for about 2 years. And then I learned some other pieces of music and became a full-time musician in church at the age of 5 or 6 years old.
Wow.
So Yeah, all I know is music. Music is a big deal, a big part of my life.
Well, I can say from what I experienced back in, last month, you are music. You are music. And I was impressed with the whole band. The piano player that was playing next to you, he's a cold-blooded brother, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's cold-blooded, man.
He's cold-blooded,
an
man.
amazing
I was
musician,
watching
producer.
him. I saw how you all interact. Y'all looked at each other a lot.
Yeah.
I thought that was very important. And your lead
Yeah, shout out
guitarist,
to my
man, I
man,
had
Mike
to stand
Burrell.
up to see him because he was rocking his
Yeah.
soul, brother. Could you name your musician? Could you name them for us?
Yeah, we had Mike Burrell on keyboard. Chris Payton was on guitar. Stanley Randolph on drums. Aaron Draper on percussion. Jimmy Newble played the bass.
Mm-hmm.
And we had about 4 or 5 amazing.
The background
Tia
singers.
Washington, Limo, Sharice Coaches, Tanika Simone, and I believe Taylor Milton sung.
Right.